This video relates to the subject Fundamentals of Management and Life Skills, which is prescribed for BCom first semester students of Bangalore University. This is session 33, which relates to Unit 4 Communication Skills. And in this session, we'll be talking about the meaning and definition of formal communication and its types. The learning objective is to understand the concept of formal communication and its type. And at the end of the session, the students are expected to understand the meaning, definition, characteristics, merits, and demerits of formal communication, and also the different types of formal communication. Now, what does formal communication? Formal communication refers to the channel which is used the, by the organization in sending its messages through the formal organization structure. Every organization has a organization structure which is in existence, which includes the authority responsibility relationship. It denotes the relationship between various parties in the organization, and when a communication uses this formal organization structure or passes through this formal organization structure, then such a communication is called as formal communication. Okay, so it refers to the flow of official information through proper predefined channels and routes. It is the official channel of communication controlled by managers in their official capacity. So this is the properly recognized channel of communication in an organization, and any kind of an official information or decision which is matter of significance or importance is sent through these channels. Now this channel officially recognized by the organization structure also. There's information which flows through proper channels of superior subordinate. It follows the formal chain of command of passing information, suggestions, and orders, and it also defines the authority responsibility relationship which exists amongst the members of the organization. Now, what are the characteristics of formal communication? Formal communications could be both written as well as oral. Having said that, mostly the formal communications will be written where there is instructions or orders or circulars which are passed on from the superiors to the subordinates. It could also involve oral instructions which are given by the superiors to subordinate. Second, it signifies the formal relationships which exist in the organization, which clearly tells you who should report to whom and who should take orders from whom. So the authority responsibility relationship is very, very well defined, and this type of communication uses this formal relation for conveying the information from one person to another. The prescribed path for communication is being used. You have the organization structure which is like a flow chart which tells you who should be communicating to whom, and that is the path which is followed by the formal communication channels. Then organizational messages, the messages which are sent through these channels are things which is relating to organization, which are official communications of the organization. There's a deliberate effort to pass on the information from the superiors to subordinate. Now, what are the types of formal communication? Formal communication could be vertical communication. Vertical communication means communication which flows from one level to the other level in the organization hierarchy. This could either be downward vertical communication or upward vertical communication. Downward vertical communication means information which flows from superiors to subordinate. It may be top to middle level or lower level management or superior supervisors or workers. This information generally relates to the goals, policies, directions, and instructions which are passed on from the superiors to the subordinate. Or it could be upward vertical information, wherein the information flows backwards from the subordinates to the superiors, from the lower levels to the higher levels. This relates to reports, achievements, progress, work related problems, suggestions, and improvement in the style of working, etc. The second type of communication is horizontal communication, that is, communication which flows between the people of the same level in the organizational structure, people who do not have to follow any kind of an official channel of command. And this is also not things which are very vital for the organization. This is relating to issues which will help them in functioning better. So, say for example, a marketing department manager or any person discusses issues relating to production and sale of goods with the manager of production department, just to make sure that they have a camaraderie between themselves, they have a proper understanding of the working of the other organization, or they could share their views and their requirements of from the other departments. So this kind of communication is called as horizontal communication. Now, what are the merits of formal communication? The basic advantage of formal communication is that there is authentic information. You know that the information is coming through proper channels, so it has to be proper information. It has to be information which is accurate, which is appropriate, and which is authentic, which is original and which you can trust. So that's a basic advantage. The second one is it could cover a large geographical area. When you are sending information and you have organization existing in a large geographical area, then you could send information very, very easily. Then it justifies organizational hierarchy. The whole idea behind having an hierarchy in the organization is to make sure that you have proper authority responsibility relationship in an organization. You know that there is a structure which is sensible in its functioning. You know that everybody knows whom to communicate, whom to take orders from, and whom to report back to. So such a sensible setup is very vital for functioning of the organization, and this organizational hierarchy is justified with formal communication. Then it helps in coordination between employees. It basically communicates what is expected of the employees and how they are going to achieve it. It helps in control for the top level managers, for them to make sure that the instructions given by them or the objectives that they're trying to achieve is being attained by the subordinates. Then filtering of information. So while sending the information through formal channels, it's very easy to filter the information. You will only send what is required for the employees. So whatever is required for whatever level of employees, only that information is being conveyed. So that is ensured through formal communication. But there are also certain limitations of formal communication. The first one is information distortion. When information passes through the various levels of communication, there are huge chances that the information gets filtered in its way of communication. So whatever is being passed on from top level management, say when it comes to middle level management, it could get filtered in the process. Then when the middle level manager passes it on to the lower level manager, it could get further filtered. There could be editing that could be done, there could be changes that could be done, because the process of understanding is a difficult one. So whatever the top management tries to convey, by the time it reaches to the person concerned, it has to pass through a number of people, and the number of people may interpret it in different ways. So there could be distortion of information that could happen. Second one, it's a very time consuming process because you have so many channels to pass through. It has to pass from one person to another person to another person. So it will be very time consuming. Third one, it's expensive because it has to pass through the formal organization structure. So it's easier to just call up that person and tell that particular information, but here you're required to pass it on to through the proper structure, so it is expensive, and there's lack of personal touch. When you're passing on the information, then there is no personal touch involved. In fact, when you would have seen orders or circulars or memos, there'll be nothing personal there. You're just conveying it to a person like he's any person, any third party. So there's no personal touch in such information.